obviously, kind of a strange year and how things are. It's almost like talking about a draft class and free agency class in the NFL, in the same time frame, which doesn't happen. So, we just tried to make the best of the situation. As you can see, we added a lot of transfers, especially late, and that's just a goal we set out a while back. Losing some significant players and having some issues at some position groups. So, and they gave us, the extra room, the NCAA of signing more people in this class. So that made it easier to add the transfers. So, it's not even over. We're still kind of, in the transfer world with a few spots left. Congratulations to Lincoln Riley. We can now transfer. We're trying to work on a graphic to transfer the Tiger King outfit to him after they just told me he got Caleb on the way in here. So we can change that title over to him. So, but we're still working, and I think that's really what's going to happen now. You're just going to be year-round, looking at things. Our SEC rule goes into effect of SEC to SEC right now of stopping that, but NCAA does not have something like that. So you basically have year-round free agency in football, which would obviously be a major issue. Why they don't do it in professional sports and the NFL. So it is what it is. We're just trying to make the best of the rules and the situations.
Neil, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Lane, you just kind of referenced the Portal King tweet yesterday that I know you're being playful about, but you've had a lot of success in the portal the last 2 years. Has it gotten to the point where you anticipate going even heavier into the portal with future classes than maybe you would have anticipated a couple of years ago?
Well, they make the rules, and I just, try to come up with ways to attack them and do the best of the situations that they put us in and allow us to be in. So I am proud of our staff because I think we, maximized it and did a great job. Didn't lose very many, players that we had that had roles here and added a lot. So, that's kind of like free agency. You don't want to lose a lot, you want to get a lot. So we definitely did that. And, I am proud of that, of our staff just saying, okay, here's the rules that are kind of, in portal and trying to figure out throughout the end of the season with all that going on, and just trying to do it better than anybody else does it. So and so I'm proud of that. We don't have the same funding resources as some of these schools do, for these NIL deals, and so it's basically like dealing with different salary caps. We now have a sport that has completely different salary caps, and some of these schools are, 5-10 times more than everybody else of what they can pay the players. So I know nobody uses those phrases, but that is what it is. So I joked the other day, I didn't know if Texas A&M was going to incur a luxury tax, and how much they paid for their signing class.
Nick, go ahead.
Lane, you've talked a lot in the past about not trying to sign specific positions of needs, but just trying to go after the best players. How did you kind of handle that in the portal, particular positions like quarterback and running back, where you did have pretty big needs?
Well, it's like there's specific needs that you're trying to do, and then there's also best available, and the thing about it that's strange, it's not like grad transfers where those are, positions of need immediately, that you take. Now that it may be a grad transfer, it may be something that has 4 years to play. So it's very, it's very just unique and challenging to figure that out. And, there's no evidence of how to do it and what's worked. So, we're just trying to be cutting edge in how we're doing it and putting together a roster.
Michael Katz.
Lane, obviously one of those big name transfers is Jackson Dart. I know you've had a lot of praise for Luke Altmaier, especially, given the circumstance he was put in the Sugar Bowl. Just can you sort of take us through the process of bringing a guy of Jackson's caliber in, and do you see this as an open quarterback competition between Luke and Jackson?
Yeah, and Kincaid Dent's in there. This is a very open competition, and you know, just because the social media world and pictures and tweeting and all the stuff that is now that we do that helps in recruiting, that helps other people, other kids see it, for classes to come. There's a lot of, it's marketing why we do all of it. That doesn't mean, okay, well, we did all this means Jackson Dart's the quarterback and Luke's not. That just is the marketing world that we're in, of the use of social media and especially Twitter. So, we're just trying to add players to positions, and either where we didn't recruit well at positions, years ago here, or where people have left or gone early to the draft too. So, there's a lot of areas and reasons why you add certain things.
David Johnson.
Lane, when you look at Michael Trigg as a tight end, he certainly has all the makings to be that dynamic tight end. What do you hope he brings to your offense immediately?
Well, he is as good of prospect as you can find from that, playing receiver, tight end, mismatch issues. So that's awesome. Unique skill set, basketball player. So now we got to translate that, put it all together for him to be that type of player. But that skill set is there for a dynamic mismatch issue that you've seen around the country at times, at certain places, that only certain people, unless you have unique receiver skills, are able to do at that position.
Michael, go ahead.
You guys had a lot of production from Chance Campbell last year, obviously a guy who was a transfer portal guy. Are you expecting Troy Brown to kind of have that same plug-and-play impact immediately?
We sure hope so. That was definitely a position of need with Chance leaving early, and not a lot of numbers there at all at that position. So you see a lot of linebackers signed, whether it's high school, whether it's junior college, whether it's a college transfer, to replace that production.
Nick, go ahead with your question.
Lane, what are your expectations for Zach Evans? A lot to replace in that running back room, and are there more pieces or more players you expect to have to contribute there?
Yeah, we have some guys here that we're excited about. Adding Zach to that room, is good because the top three carriers from last year are not here. So, it'll be exciting to get everybody in there and get people some chances that haven't had a lot. And again, this whole, like everything, this transfer thing is not over. You're going to see a whole nother, until they figure out how to do this better, you're going to see a whole nother group after spring ball that leaves places. So this is an ongoing thing. So, it's kind of like, I joked about the rankings and portal number one, whatever. Obviously, I don't care about rankings. I'm just joking because they don't mean a whole lot until you get the production. It's like draft grades. But now you're going to give a draft grade, but yet these things are going to keep going. Like, look at last year. We added a starting center right before camp. So you're going to continue to see things adjust and rosters adjust all the way up till training camp.
Ross Dellinger with the next question.
Lane, you just kind of mentioned it there that this is going to happen until they fix it or can figure out a way to do it better. How can they? I know that there's been some talk about putting closed and open windows like you'd have in NFL free agency. What are your thoughts on how to fix this?
Well, they probably got to do that, like you said. That's I always say, look to people that have done it a long time. They know what they're doing. The NFL knows what they're doing. It's not open free agency all year round for a reason, and you got long-term contracts for a reason. So, kids can't leave at any point of any year all the time. So, and somehow they're going to, I bet, try to control NIL, because now you got, like I said before, you got these salary caps of places, giving players millions of dollars to play before they ever play, and other places not being able to do that. So what would What would the NFL look like if there were a couple teams in the NFL that their salary cap was 10 times more everybody else's salary cap? You know? So that's where you're headed. So they're going to have to do something. Or, I guess they don't, but it is what it is.
Nick Suss.
Off topic, Lane, but first time we've talked to you since you hired Chris here. Just kind of what was the conversation of getting your brother on board, and what do you expect him to bring to defense?
Well, I think he's been a lot of places, and, you know, ran our defense at FAU, and we were really good that year, and then went to the NFL since then and learned a lot of different places, had really good players, and so that makes it easy to recruit to. And having been here before when they were really good, I think is good for in recruiting for players to know, okay, hey, he coached these guys that were here before, and so glad for that. Well, we've made a lot of hires. And, you know, people could say in recruiting, well, hey, look, everybody's leaving and everything. Well, no, they're going to really good jobs, and a number of them, you know, whether it's alma mater or town they're from, you know, that happens, just like the year before. And when you win, it happens. So Alabama loses a lot of coaches every year, and they're pretty good. So I think that's a really good problem to have, that people keep wanting to take our coaches, strength coaches, personnel people, you know, so I think that's a good thing. It's a lot better than the other problem when no one wants your guys and you're winning 3 games.
Neil McCready with the next question.
Elaine, I have 2 questions, but one of them I wanted to follow up on what Ross just asked. Are you kind of hoping that that's a congressional thing, that they step in and legislate limits on NIL, that thing, or do you think that the whole all for a college football czar or commissioner or whatever, that would be that role?
I don't have that answer. That's way above me. I just think that you have an issue. You know, it's why a long time ago they made signing classes 25, so everybody was on the same page with that. So, you know, so at some point you're going to have to do something, because again, there's schools that have no shot to recruit certain high school players because you're going to get paid, you know. I mean, you know, if a class has an average of, you know, a freshman class coming in of $25 million for their class, that's $1 million a person throughout their course of time there. You know, in free agency in the NFL, players usually go to the most money. Every once in a while they don't, because they already have a bunch of money. Well, these kids are 17, 18 years old. They're going to go to where they're paid the most. So I'm not complaining. It just is what it is. Whenever there's things created, there's a lot of times problems people didn't think about. You know, and so you just legalize paying players what people used to cheat.
And then my other question was just about the spots that you have remaining. Is it best available, or are there still some areas of need that you kind of feel like you've got to address between now and August?
I think it's a mix. You know, there's not dire needs now, but, you know, it's best available, but at the same time, we're going to take into account what position too when it's that late.
Jake Thompson.
Hey Lane, what did you see in JJ? You kind of want to bring him back to Oxford, but into Ole Miss. I know D-line is kind of new to him, but what did y'all see out of those first couple of years from him?
Well, he's a great athlete, someone that we got here late on the first time around and never even got to get in front of him, you know, when he left the first time. So I thought he really improved throughout last year once he got used to the position and played really well at the end of the year. So, and I'd never been around him. So being around him, meeting him, you know, very dynamic, energetic kid. And so we lost a number of those guys, you know, in this class that were really cool, energetic guys, from the quarterback to Braylon Sanders, Mark Robinson, Chance, a lot of these guys. And so, you know, it's good to add some.